Hello, my name is Brian, and I'm a game show junkie. I don't know where it really began. Ever since I was a baby, I was walking around the house, counting out playing cards like they were $100 bills, and screaming at the television whenever somebody lost a lot of money. Some shows even got me into gambling before I could even comprehend what that meant. It made me very insecure as a student because all the other kids were talking about their favorite cartoons, sports, and dramas, and I was the only one in the entire school talking about game shows. Ever since I was introduced to the internet, I found out I was not the only game show junkie alive. So, to my fellow junkies and other interested parties, I feel the time is right to talk about it. The earliest memory I have of a game show that I was completely obsessed with was the classic 80s game show, Press Your Luck.
Today, these three players are after big bucks, but they'll have to avoid the whammy as they play the most exciting game of their lives. From Television City in Hollywood, it's time to press your luck. And now, here's your host, the star.
Back in the 80s, many game shows had the same formula. Easy-to-follow gameplay, flashy visuals, a likable host, a catchy theme song, and a popular catchphrase. Press Your Luck was the prime example. The gameplay of Press Your Luck went like this. 3 contestants were asked 4 questions, one at a time. One of the players buzzes in and gives an answer. The other 2 contestants are given a set of multiple-choice answers, including the answer given by the first player. If the contestant who buzzed in is correct, they get 3 spins. If the contestant gives a correct multiple-choice answer, they get 1 spin. If nobody buzzes in, they are given the 3 multiple-choice answers, and all 3 can earn 1 spin with a correct answer. After the questions, the contestants take the spins they earned to the game board, where they can win money and prizes. Here, you were supposed to stop a light square on the board that was randomly bouncing around 18 squares. By hitting the same button they used during the questions and saying the word stop, they were awarded the money or prize in that square, but they had to be careful not to hit the dreaded whammy. If they hit the whammy, an animated character would come out and steal their money and prizes in many different hilarious ways. If you were afraid a whammy was coming up, the player could pass the remaining spins to another player who would be forced to play all the spins until they were all played, or they hit a whammy. 4 whammies eliminated the player from the game. After all spins are played, they ask 4 more questions as before. Then it's on to the final spin round. The dollar and prize values were increased to as much as $5,000 in 1 spin. After all spins were played, the person with the highest total won the game, got to keep their money and prizes, and came back the next show to play again. Due to network rules, if the contestant won over $25,000, they kept everything over that limit, but were retired as an undefeated champion. Part of the success of Press Your Luck was the game board. The board was a giant square made up of 18 small projection screens. Each one had 3 slides in it that would constantly change between the money, prizes, and whammies. At the time, it was the biggest game board ever, eclipsing the Hollywood Squares game board. Plus, there was a hidden camera in the logo, which shot the contestants' play and reactions. So instead of just showing the game board, the shot was the board spinning and the contestants in the middle, which was pretty unique for its time. But the biggest visual that everyone remembers was the whammy. Just the thought of a cartoon character popping up and wiping your score to 0 was funny enough, but here are a few examples of how they did it.
Big money, let's see some big bucks, big bucks. Stop! Stop it all.
One if I get, 2 if I guess. The whammies are coming to steal your stash.
Oh, big bucks, big bucks, big bucks. Stop!
Stop it all.
Isn't this romantic? Our first
Stop it, oh, whammy.
If elected, I will raise your taxes.
Rub those whammies and hard time and stop.
Stop it, oh, whammy.
Who would ever hurt a whammy? Who would ever want to?
Stop it, oh, whammy.
Anybody got a man?
Funny stuff. Host Peter Tamarkin was the perfect match for this show. This was the first time I saw him as a game show host, and as a little kid I was impressed by what I saw. He explained the game clearly, interacted well with the contestants, and seemed to get emotionally attached at points when players won a lot or lost a lot. But one thing I always loved about Peter was his laugh. For some reason, hearing that always made me chuckle. Take a listen. I always felt an important ingredient to a game show was a catchy theme song and audio cues. In the case of Press Your Luck, Lee Ringget conducted a fast-paced theme to what was a fast-paced game. If you listen long enough, you'll be hearing it in your head all day. It's also just as important to have familiar sound cues, so if you're not in front of the TV and listening nearby, you would know what was going on. Press Your Luck had a unique buzz-in sound effect for the question round, and a more recognizable sound effect for the bouncing lights. In the 3-year run on CBS, Press Your Luck had 3 sound effects for the board, which were essentially the same thing but flushed out more every time. This made it sound like either a computer game or arcade game, which were big at the time. But the most important ingredient that keeps a game show in people's heads is a popular catchphrase that usually develops over time. At first, contestants were silent when playing the game, but soon contestants started the now famous mantra, "Big bucks, no whammies, stop!"
Come on, big bucks, stop.
Stop at $400.
We want big bucks, no whammies, big bucks, no whammies. We want big bucks, no whammies, and stop.
Stop at 400 more, $21.99. Got it?
No whammies, just the big bucks, just the big bucks. Stop.
Stop at 600 more.
In fact, before I officially remembered the title of the show, I would always call it either Big Bucks or Whammies. Now, 30 years after the show aired its final new episode, junkies like me are still chanting Big Bucks, no whammies, thanks to cable networks like USA and the Game Show Network. In fact, I became so obsessed with Press Your Luck that to this date, I have almost every single episode recorded. That's 722 out of 757 made. Wow. But as much of a Press Your Luck junkie I am not the ultimate Press Your Luck junkie. That award goes to an unemployed ice cream truck driver from Lebanon, Ohio. In 1983, Michael Larson first saw Press Your Luck and soon realized the big board wasn't as random as we all thought. By taping the show and using the slow feature on his VCR, he saw the light bounced around the board in 5 set patterns of 18 squares. After figuring them all out, he then practiced stopping the board on the box that had the most money, plus gave him an additional spin. He also noticed box 8, going clockwise, also had all money plus a spin. These became his 2 targets. On May 19th, 1984, Michael was scheduled to appear on the show armed with this information. But he soon quickly learned the response time between when he hits the button and where the light stops was different in studio, as he hit a whammy on his first spin. After he got the timing down, he kept raking in the cash.
Stop at 5,000 and a spin. Oh, he's looking for more big bucks. Stop at 1,000 and a spin. 12,005. Pressing his luck. 5,000 and a spin. Stop. 3,000 and a spin. Stop. 4,000 and a spin. 79,351. 33 spins. $4,000. I don't believe it.
By now, Peter was thinking this guy is going to walk away with the network.
Stop at 3,000 and a spin, Michael.
After a total of 42 spins after that whammy, he passed 4 spins with a total of $102,851 to his credit. Later, his opponent passed him back 3 spins, which he had to play. Avoiding the whammy by the skin of his teeth, Michael came out on top with a final total of $110,237. Adjusted for inflation, that's $257,391.97 in 2016 dollars. After a legal battle from the network, who thought he cheated, Michael was able to keep it all, but soon lost it all. He foolishly withdrew all his winnings in $1 bills to try and win a radio contest. In this contest, matching the serial number of a $1 bill would net you a $30,000 jackpot. His house was soon broken into, and all but $5,000 Michael kept in a drawer was stolen. The case was never solved. A big board and a little whammy is how a little baby went from an average child to a game show junkie. Through the years, I fed my addiction with more shows with flashy sets and big cash prizes. Am I strange? Maybe, but game shows have been a big part of my life, and I look forward to sharing more. See you next time.